Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. We just had a Zoom meeting. I got to see some of Mrs. Ramos's class and some of my class. So I want to start by sharing my screen. Here we go. And here we are. So let me see if I can make this bigger for you, okay? Okay, there we go. Super. Okay. So, how long do we have before this is over? Some of you are asking, you know, when does the class get over? And it's really extended for another two weeks because of when we were out. And some teachers were not able to get the teaching online. At any rate, May 12th, which is next week, we're going to start to review for the final exam. Start to review, but I want to do another chapter. I mean, we've gotten to a good point in the book, which is nice. But still, I want to get another chapter in. But I'll do a little review next week too. May 19th, I'll do a complete review for the final, and I will post the final on the 20th. And you will have until May 26th to complete the final, get all the work into me. But for Mrs. Ramos's classes and people that came in late, I'm going to extend that so that you can get your work into me. But in the meantime, make sure that you do the present chapter, like the chapter we're doing today, get that homework into me. And then when you have time, start looking at the other chapters. Okay, we're on page 58, and we were talking about times have changed. They really have. You can say that again. So we talked about the past and the present and the future. And for example, in the past, we had things we didn't have telephones, like we do today. Today we have in the present we have cell phones, and in the future, who knows what we will have. Who knows? Maybe our phone can do the dishes for us. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But who knows? So on page 59, if you look in the grammar section, it talks about time contrast. And a lot of this level 2 here book has talked, which is level 3, has talked a lot about using clauses, which is important for writing and speaking, but important for writing. We can make time contrasts by using different time phrases. Phrases have a subject and a verb. They don't always have a complete thought. Main phrases do have a complete thought in their sentences. But here are the phrases, things that we use. We can use them at the beginning of sentences. They make our writing much better, sound much better. So for the past, a few years ago, we used to, a few years ago, for past. The present, nowadays, these days. We could say today. There's many of these phrases which are great, especially, I'm telling you, your writing will look much better when you use them. In the future, soon, in the future, in a few years, in 100 years, in the next decade. Those are all time phrases. So we also need to select the correct tense. So we can't just say 70 years ago, people will watch black and white movies, because that would be in the future. When we're talking 70 years ago, that's a past time phrase. We need to match that verb. People watched black and white movies. So we do have to be careful there. See how this is a sentence here? People, subject, verb, complete thought, right? People watch black and white movies. That's a sentence. This here is a phrase. 70 years ago, a time phrase. comma. See that? Right? Now we can switch this around. We can say people watched black and white movies 70 years ago. And if we do it that way, we do not need a comma, because when the time phrase goes at the end, it just blends in with the sentence and we don't need a comma. It's only in the beginning. It's like an introduction. You know, when you walk in a room and you say, hello, right? This is like an introduction. And that's why we need the comma. Okay, so nowadays means right now. So that's in the simple present, right? Nowadays, people watch 3D movies. So watch matches up with the simple present, right? Nowadays, people watch 3D movies. Nowadays, comma. Now I could change it. People watch 3D movies nowadays. No comma, okay? Soon people will be able to smell movies, like smell-o-vision, right? If I'm cooking on a show, maybe you'll be able to smell it. People will be soon, comma, people will, this is in the future, right? Soon in the future will, right? That's the future tense. Soon people will be able to smell movies. Okay, but we can also say people will be able to smell movies soon, but there's no comma, okay? So here's another one. 100 years ago, people used a horse and cart. These days meaning now, people drive cars. In 50 years, people will, right, future tense, use jetpacks. The first, okay, so we're done with that, and this is a new section, okay? So the first conditional, and I think that's, yeah, that's on page 61, the first conditional. And a condition is using if. If, you must use if. If you exercise every day, comma, and this is a phrase, right? Because it's not a complete thought. If you just said, if you, Christy Tellegen, if you exercise every day, I would say, yeah, what, right? So you have to finish that. If you exercise every day, you'll be fit and healthy. The consequence of me exercising every day will mean you'll be fit and healthy. Now, a consequence can be good and bad, right? In this sense, it's a good consequence. If I exercise every day, I'll be fit and healthy. If I don't exercise every day, I'll be big and fat maybe, right? The first conditional is used to show possible consequences. We're not sure, right? Because none of us can tell the future, but possible consequences. So here's the condition, the if clause. If plus the simple present. If you eat cookies, eat is the present tense, right? If you eat 100 cookies, in the future, you will be fat, or you may be fat, or you might be fat. That's the possible. We don't know for sure, but me, I will be fat. Okay, so here, if you exercise every day, you'll be fit and healthy. Again, the condition and the consequence, and the comma here. Now, this is beautiful because if we change it around, if we just flip, you'll be fit and healthy if you exercise every day, right? That's a beautiful sentence. In that case, where you have the main clause or the sentence one coming first, you do not need to put a comma. So I can say you'll be fit and healthy if you exercise every day. Okay, the first conditional uses will. Here's the simple present, get. Here's you will earn money. If you get a job, you will earn money. This is won't, won't. And that means will not. And I explained to people on Zoom that that word won't is very strange because we're talking will not. You would think it would be WILLN apostrophe T? Won't? No, it's won't. Where did they get this O? But so back in, thousands and thousands of years ago in the English language, it's very old English. They would say will not, like this, WOOL not. So it stayed. It's won't. That's just to make your studying English even harder, right? Okay, so if clauses. You can have the if clause here and then the main clause. The if clause and then the main clause. So if I eat cookies, I will get fat. Or I can have the main clause first. I will get fat if I eat cookies, right? Okay. All right, and then I have two really nice songs for you, so you can listen to the some of the conditional phrases in songs in the English language. In songs, I picked two songs. One song's a very popular song back in the day. Back in the day, right? Back in the day. That's a time phrase. And then there's one today, a current one nowadays, which is a little sad, but I could only find two songs with conditional phrases in it. And the one that's kind of a sad song, it uses the word tolerate, and we talked a little bit about that. Tolerate means to put up with something even if you don't like it. Mothers use that word a lot, like, I will not tolerate you leaving dishes in the sink. Tolerate. Someone said, I can tolerate soy milk. I don't really like it, but I can tolerate it. And again, there's some things you can tolerate and some things you shouldn't tolerate, right? You shouldn't tolerate domestic violence. You shouldn't tolerate someone bullying you. So that is the word, and that's one of the words that's in the song. I just wanted to do some vocab there with that word. So I'm going to post this video. I'm going to put all the homework on there. Make sure that you look at what is due for homework. Some people are sending in half of the homework and then ask, why don't I have a grade? And I say, because not all the homework is due. And I don't want to give you a low grade if you haven't completed all of the homework, right? So sometimes on Edmodo, you'll see resubmit. So that means send it back in and check to make sure you have everything. Okay, I have to go. So I will see you next week. Okay, bye.